Hello again, Ebon Pinion back with another knife fight. And today, I got a special knife fight between really two awesome assisted opening knives from two great companies. We have the Benchmade 580 Barrage versus the Kershaw 1670 Navy Blue Blur. Now, you might be thinking, wait, is it just the 580? Don't you have a 580S? Actually, I do have a 580S, but I also have a regular 580. I actually got this on Valentine's Day. Holly bought this for me as my Valentine's Day gift. It's the regular Barrage plain edge. So I got the partially serrated and I got the plain edge. And quite frankly, I prefer the plain edge to the partially serrated one. Just looks like a much nicer knife to me. But let's talk about these knives. Which one would be better? It's kind of hard because I like them both a whole lot. I really do. I'm not very sure what I can do with them. Or, I mean, which one I would prefer more. I don't know, it's a tough choice. I think probably one that would actually be more for real performance, as far as, like, you know, heavy duty performance, go above and beyond the Call of Duty, would probably be the Barrage. One that's just a good solid everyday carry would be the Blur. But let's see, materials, handles. On the Barrage you have the, I believe it's called Valex handles, handle scales, which are basically just sort of like heavy-duty plastic. The back spacer's the same way. Then you have the full stainless liners that have been milled out to save weight. The Blur, aluminum handle scales with partial nested steel liners. Pretty lightweight as well. I'd have to say probably the Barrage feels a little bit heavier. But you can see that there's also the thickness. The Barrage is pretty hand-filling. And the Blur is not bad. Actually, as far as ergonomics go, it's hard to tell. I think for grip, I prefer the Blur. That Track Tech grips my hand a lot better. There's just no gripping on the Barrage. It does fill the hand nicely, but I think if they had some jimping up here, or some, you know, some more, I wouldn't say so much abrasive, but better texturing, it'd probably hold my hand a lot better. They both have lanyard holes, and they both have pocket clips. Now I prefer the Barrage pocket clip. This actually isn't the pocket clip it came with. This is a regular painted Benchmade pocket clip, but it came with the split arrow clip. I prefer this clip. I think it looks nicer, but you know, it's mounted for both sides for tip-up carry. And this, on the other hand, is mounted for tip-down or tip-up carry on the right side only, and I really do not like this clip. I mean, that's my only gripe on this knife, is the clip. I hate the clip. I mean, it does its job, but I don't like it. That's personal preference, anyway. The nice thing about the Barrage, it's a fully ambidextrous knife. You can carry it in either pocket. You can actuate the lock with either hand. You can actuate the knife as far as opening with either hand. So that is a big plus for this knife. Price-wise, you can get the blur for, under $100 easily. You could get many different versions of it too. For under $100, you can even get an S30V version for under $100. So the Barrage, on the other hand, is usually well over $100. So I honestly don't think it's it should be priced as high as it is. It's a wonderful knife, but just I think it's very overpriced. Now let's talk about locks. For the blur, you have a liner lock. Now, many have complained that the liner lock on the blur is a little weak and is prone to failure. I've never had that problem, but I have seen people, whose liner lock has failed on their blur. The Barrage uses the access lock, which is a pretty strong, durable lock. Can it fail? Yeah. But this knife can pretty much be almost used like a fixed blade knife. I'd say for a more robust folding knife that's practically a fixed blade knife with an access lock, go with the Adamas, the 275 Adamas. But this one can, still function for heavier duty use. You gotta keep an eye out for it, because, it could, you know what I mean. Sorry, it's late at night, and I'm really just like, I wanted to do this review, though, but I'm just kind of out of it. But, anyway, so the lock on, the access lock has been very strong. I always seem to find that the access locks on all my Benchmade knives have a little bit of up and down blade play, just a tiny bit. No side-to-side play that can easily be adjusted out. With this, on the other hand, you actually have to take off the scale to get to the pivot screw. But it has no blade play at all. But a big plus on the Barrage is that it has this extra safety here. And once pushed in, locks the blade closed. Pull it out, open the knife, push it again, double locks the knife open. So that is a great feature. Definitely help when you're using it hard. Excuse me. Blur, on the other hand, has no safety, extra safety when closed or open. Basically, the torsion bar, which is in the handle, actually helps keep the blade closed until you push it to a certain point. Then it will open. But it doesn't have like a double safety to keep the liner lock from failing. So, that could be a problem. What's nice about the blur, even though this isn't the most effective jimping there is, it has some jimping up here. Barrage could definitely use some jimping. Blades, well, you get a slightly longer blade with the Barrage, and you get a nice recurve with the blur. It's hollow ground, so it's an excellent slicer. It slices extremely well, and still has a very sharp tip. I know, because I accidentally stabbed myself with it. So it can definitely stab. The Barrage, sorry, has it flat ground, and it's still a very good slicer. Sorry. And it has a nice, very acute point. so it's also a very good piercer. So I think both of them are very good at both those jobs. Now I will say the Barrage has a slightly thicker tip, so it's going to be a little bit stronger for piercing. And the Blur has a slightly thinner tip, and so it could easily break, depending on what you're piercing. Anyway. But the blade materials, you have 154 cm on the Barrage, which is a great steel. You have Sandvik 14C28N on the Blur, which is also really great steel, and in my use, both these steels work about the same. They're easy to sharpen up, get to a razor edge, and they hold it very well. And they're both very good at maintaining corrosion resistance. The added benefit of the Blur is that it's stone washed, and so that is supposed to help with corrosion resistance already to a very corrosion resistant blade. So and the Barrage has sort of a tumble finish, a slight tumble finish, which is sort of like stone washing. But 154 cm is pretty corrosion resistant, I have found as well. So I think in blades they are pretty much on par with each other. They're pretty good at that. Stabbing advantage would go to the Barrage for having a slightly stronger tip. As far as strength of handle, perhaps the Blur. Strength of lock, the Barrage. Being more versatile for righties and lefty, the Barrage. Speed, oh well, they're both very fast. That wasn't a good enough view of the Barrage. There we go. I'd probably give the speed advantage to the Blur. I mean, ease of disengagement, let's do it that way, probably goes to the Blur. It's easy to disengage this one-handed, not so easy with this. As far as comfortability, I'd say the Barrage is more comfortable, but overall, as far as grip, I'd go with the Blur. Both are USA made. Price-wise, I'd go with the Blur as well, since there's tons of variants of this knife, and you can get, like I said, the S30V for under $100. So the S30V, I believe, has a more partial flat grind to it, and it allows it to have a stronger tip, plus also it's a better steel. But both are really great, so I mean, it's up to you. Anyway, that is my knife fight. Thanks for watching, and God bless.